Now we will discuss about the conditional statements. So whenever we want to print normal like card 1, card 2, card 3, directly we'll write like this. But sometimes what we want to do, we want to write some conditions. Example, I'll open this website. Okay. Suppose this is our demo website, right? Whenever you are logged in the header, what is the icon? Whoever the user is logged in, we want to print their username. Okay. Whenever I want to log out from that header, I want to remove it. Okay. So if you go to our demo here, so by default we are having like a employee login and these things. We will remove it here. Suppose if I am login, I will type some data and I will click login. So if whenever I am login, what I want to do, I want to display username there. And whenever I log out, I will we don't want to display anything. So if you want to display such things, then we have to go for a conditional based. Okay, based on the condition, we have to write our page. For example, okay, let us try to add some data for the header and let us see here. So go to header.js. By default, I have added these routes, right? I will comment out and let us later I will include it. Okay. So here what we want to do, we want to display the logged in username. So whatever the username is logged in, I want to display that username. So first let us print it. Whenever you want to write such code, what you do, first you write it directly. Later you add the condition. Okay. So here we want to print our username. Let us write our username. I will say here one span. Let's write the span tag. So user is Trinits, something like this. So it is going to automatically come in the left side. If you want to move it to the right side, what are the techniques we can use it? You can use a class name. Here float end. Float end means what? Float is equal to right side. Automatically it will go to the right side. Okay. So this is the technique you can use it. Now by default it is coming or not? Yes, but we don't want to show it always. Okay. That is the reason. So whenever you want to write any condition based on some condition, if I am login, I want to show it. If I don't log in, I don't want to show it. There are two things we want to do based on the login. First thing is whenever I log in, suppose if I log in, I want to show my sidebar. Okay. And in the header, I want to show username. And whenever I log out, I don't want to show my sidebar. And I don't want to show any username in the top side. These two things we are going to do based on the conditions. First, let us try to work on this name part. Second, we will work on the sidebar part. Okay. Let us first what we are going to do. If you want to write any condition, first we need to write no whether user is logged in or not, right? That is the reason here I am going to create one variable constant let is user logged in. I am writing my own variable name. Okay. Here I am writing a false. False means user is not logged in. Okay. And here true means user is logged in. Here we can write one simple button. Whenever we are clicking a button, we can think like you are entering the correct username and correct password. So you are logging in correctly. And at that time, we can change this variable to the true. And the remaining time, we will change it to the false. If you want to reflect this true and false, if you are writing like this will not work out. Then we have to go for a state variable. So that is the reason. Let us create one state variable constant is user logged in. Okay. And second, set user logged in use state. Use state, I'm going to have a import it. So by default, false means he is not logged in. So here simply write one button, any button here. I'll say button. Okay. So here login something. Okay. So whenever we are clicking login, what is the way we change we want to do it? We want to turn it to true. Let us try to do like this. So on click is equal to, I will say handle login. So whenever we are writing handle login, we need to define this function, right? Let us define a function. So let us try to define this function in the handle login. I'll say set logged in is equal to true and something like this. So whenever we are clicking button, we are making true, and this it will become a true value. Now this is okay. First, let us print whether we are logged in or not. So simply I will come here, and after the Trinits, I will print the whether user is logged in or not. So this will make sure that user is logged in or not, and save it here. So login button is there, and here after the Trinits empty is there. Let's click on login. What is happening? Is there any change? So button, login, handle, login. So we are changing it to true value. Okay. And set user logged in. Let us see. Console dot log off logged in. You can verify whether your button action is working or not using the console statement. Here, let us click here. So this login is coming, but still the data is not coming in the right side. So let us print it in the before itself if there is any problem. Okay, we will write it. Okay. So this is like a if you want to any plus concatenation. So string plus boolean, what will happen? String only. Let us try to see what is going to happen. So what is the value? Current value? True. Earlier it is thinking like a boolean value, some condition. That is the reason it's not printing it. Let us again. I will reload it first time. By default, false value. And I'm going to click the login. So it is changed to true, right? Something instead of printing the true. Now what we want to do? If this value is true, I want to print this name. If this value is false, we don't want to print this one. Okay. For this reason, we are going for a conditional statements. Okay. In JavaScript, there is a concept called ternary operators. Okay. Ternary means three. Okay, three. So here we are going to write one question mark. Okay. First we'll write what is the condition? User is logged in or not. Okay. This is a Boolean variable. And if this Boolean variable is true, what you want to do? Whatever you want to do, you will write it here. True condition. This is a true condition. And if it is failed, this is a fail condition. Okay. So if this value is true, after the question mark, whatever it is, you have written code, that code will execute. If this false, whatever the question, like after the colon is there, this code will be executed. Okay. This is equivalent to like our if condition. If user is logged in, then which code will be executed? If condition will be executed. If user is not logged in, which condition will be executed? Else part. Instead of writing in these 4 lines, people will write like this. So this is a shorthand for the if and else condition. So here this concept we are going to apply here. So what we want to do it, if I am logged in, I want to print it. So if you want to write any dynamic code, first let us write the JSX syntax. Okay. So inside the JSX syntax, what is my variable name? Is user logged in. First go on print here. Okay. If this is a true, write a ternary condition question mark. If this is a true, what variable you want to print it? Trinits. We don't want to, okay. We want to print a Trinits. If this is a false, what variable you want to print it? Empty. Okay. Empty by default empty is it will not print anything. Let us save it here and reload the page again. So now our expectation is whenever we are logged in, by default we'll reload it. Is there any username? No. I will click on login. So it is printing right. Suppose if I am clicking second time, I want to hide it. So earlier it is there. Whenever I'm clicking first time, I want to hide it. Okay. And second thing is whenever I'm clicking login, already I'm logged in, right? I want to change my button to the logout. Based on the condition, I want to change my button text also. Two things I want to do it. First, let us try to do the thing. So whenever I'm clicking login, I want to change this text to the logout. So here, go to the button. So by default, what is the name I am writing? Login. But when we want to write a login, if my variable is a false, I want to as a login. If my variable is a true, I want to show it as a logout. So use your JSX syntax here. So I'm going to write a JSX. First, what is my variable name? Use user logged in. If this is a true, I want to make it as a logout. If this is a false, I want to make it as a login. Clear? Okay. Let's click on the file, save all. So by default now it is a logout. If you click on logout, so here we need to turn off right. But here if you go to the code, always what is the variable I'm making a true? Always you are saying to login only. You are not saying a logout. That is the reason here what I will do. Instead of writing like this, what is my variable name? Logged in. I am going to copy like this and I am going to add a not symbol. So what is this meaning is whenever you are clicking first time, So what is the by default value? False. And you are writing not symbol. What will happen? It will become a true. Earlier false is there, now it will become a true. Now it will say to the true. And whenever you are clicking second time, now think like, what is the value? True. And you are adding a false. Whenever true will become a false, now it will change. It will work like a switch. Whenever opening, it will work. Whenever I turn off, it will like a off. So that is the reason. This is the simplest for the toggle behavior. Let us save it and reload the page again. Okay, let us click on login. Log out is there. Log out. Here also it's going. Here also it is going. It will work like a toggle, like this. Okay. If you want to write any condition like this, then we can go for a what condition? Ternary condition. This is clear, right? Suppose you want to print very big HTML. Instead of writing simple one login and log out, you want to write any big HTML. Okay, div, and you want to write one card, something like this. Very simple. Instead of writing like this, you are going to write like a JSX syntax. Inside the JSX syntax, you write the code, whatever the code. Like suppose I want to write a card, I want to use another page, you write it. Everything will display it. Instead of writing strings, we can write a HTML also. That is also perfectly fine. Here I am writing only some 0, 0, zeros. Instead of writing 0, zeros, I can write a one div. Inside the div, I can use like a Trinits, whatever we want to display, we can write it. Okay, and don't think we are going to write only strings. You can write any name. Suppose you want to display some number. If you are logged in, you want to display one number. If you are logged out, you don't want to display some number. You can write the logic. So the only point here is whenever this variable is true, what is the value, what is the code you want to write it, you write it after the question mark. Whenever this is a false, what is the code you want to write it after, write it after the colon. That is the point. But if you see here, okay, I'll say log out. So, but in this case, right, whenever I am logging in, I am showing my Trinits name. But whenever if it is not there, if I am writing empty, right, so that empty means like I am writing one additional thing with empty parameter. If you want to simplify this one in JSX, we can remove here, ma. Okay, we don't want this one, and we are writing this question mark, right? Instead of question mark, we will go for a double and operator. Okay, double and operator. Yesterday in interview, they have asked this question. Let me explain what is this one. Okay, so whenever this is a true variable and you are writing a and symbol. So what will happen is whenever this is a true, it will go to the next condition. And what is the value you are writing here? Trinits. It is going to print it. So there is no change at all. I will click on login. Trinits is coming. I will click on logout. It is going out. So instead of writing ternary condition, we can go for this double and also. What is this meaning is, if this is a true, it will go here. If this is a false, it will not go to the next case. That is the meaning. Okay. In interview, they have written like this. Ma. What is the answer? You have to tell me. So they are saying a 7 and 8. Okay. So what is this meaning? What is the output? We are going to print it here. Simple. So this is like as per the boolean, what is the true variable? Any non-zero value true only. Any non-zero true only. Here this 7 is equal to is logged in. True value. Okay. Whenever this is true, it will go to the next condition. What is the next condition here? 8. It will print the 8. That is the answer. So let us see. And what is the answer here? Let us click on the, what is the answer? 8. Suppose I will go to here. Again, I am going to write a 0. 0. So what is the answer we are going to get it? 0 means what? False. Whenever it is a false, will it go to second variable or not? No. So then what is the answer? Only whatever the first value, this is a 0 only, it is printing. Okay. And we'll go for a second condition called double R. Okay. Double R. What is this meaning is, so here this first, whenever this first one is false, then only it will go to the second place. If the first one is true, it will never go to the second place. Suppose we'll go to the first example, 7. So now 7 is a true or false? True. Whenever this is a true, it will never go to the second part. It will stop there itself. Then what is the output here? We are going to get it 7 only. Suppose if you are giving 0 here, 0 here. Now what is the output? We are going to get it 8, because whenever this first variable is a false, then only it will go to the second part. That is the logic behind here. Everybody okay, right? And sometimes they have given one silly question. That silly question is they are saying a 7% 2. What is the answer for this one? You are going to get a reminder. 2, 2 3 are 6. What is the remainder? 1. You have written that program, right? Even number or odd number. If remainder is 0, then okay, here what is the answer? 1 or 0? 1. Okay, 1. So these are the 3 questions they have asked in interview. That is okay. Let us try to come to our topic. So this is a condition, ternary condition. You can write like this. So if the condition is true, the second part is going to execute. If this is a false, after this part is going to execute. Here you can write multiple lines also. You can write a div tag. You can write any even if you want to write one component also, you can write the component name. Okay, suppose if I have logged in, I want to display the component 1. If I am log out, I want to display component 2. In that case also you can write the same condition. First you can say, if you are logged in, you write your component name like this, component name. And if you are log out, you can write a component name 2, like okay, something like this. This is okay. So we are going to write like this. This is okay. Now what we are going to do, let us go again to the login page. Whenever I'm clicking login, what I want to do, I want to show a loader, okay, which will be displaying whenever you are logging into any website. If it is taking 1 or 2 seconds, they will show one spinner right on the top of the spinner. We want to show it. So that is also based on the condition only. So we will try to simulate that spinner and do it. So whenever I'm clicking, what I want to do, I want to show the loader first. Okay. For this loader, what we will do, we'll create one loader component, and that component we will use it in the here. Let us try to create one loader component. Let's create one loader component here. I'll go to here. How to create a loader component? Create a new folder. I will say loader. Inside the loader, we are going to create a new file. That is a loader.js. Inside the loader.js, export default function loader, and we are going to write the something like this. So this props is optional. Whenever we want to do it, we'll go to do it. Okay. So here I'm going to write a simple. So this is my simple class name. I am not writing any CSS. We are going to define the CSS. Okay. And in the center part, I will, for now, what I will say, loading, something like this. Later we'll do dynamic message here. First we'll write a loading. Later we'll change this one to the dynamic message. So, and we want to use this loader. Only when we want to use the loader, whenever we are logging in, at the time only we want to show the loader. Let's go to header. So now we want to define, whenever we want to show, first we'll see whether the loader is coming or not here in the component. I will add it in the here itself. What is my component name? Loader. I'll say something like this. Let's see loader is coming or not. Okay, something is problem. Whenever our whiteboard is coming, definitely there is a problem. Okay, so let us file. I did not save the loader code, but I am trying to import in the other file. Okay, so let's we have a loader. So here the loading is there. See, loading dot 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 is there. First, what we want to try to do, we want to show loading center of the screen. I don't want to show over there. Okay, and we'll change the font size. Let us try to write one simple CSS. Whenever you want to write a center of the screen, you can write one. See, we know the positions, right? Do you know what are the positions available in CSS? There are 5 types of positions are available. Fixed, static, absolute, relative. 5 is there, right? Let us go with the absolute in this case. Okay. Whenever your parent is not a positioned item, it will go from the screen. My parent is not a position item. I want to come from my screen only. So let us try to do like this here. And I want to try position is equal to absolute. Okay, and whenever one more than one is there on the same time, I can go for a z index. You know that z index, right? What is use of z index? I will say z index. I want to display in the top of the file. So border, I am declaring border will go for, we don't want a border. Let us remove this border radius. So width by default, I want to occupy the 100% width. That is okay. And height, I want to occupy the 100% height. Okay. And let us try to save here and check it. Okay, so here it is coming, and I want to display my text. Text align is equal to center. Okay, center is coming, and by default, if you observe it, this is the loader page. See, this loader, whenever I'm hovering it, entire text is hovering it, right? So this is it is loading. So, but it is displaying here, and you can add any background color also. Let us add some background color. Background icon color light something C color. Okay, so this is the color we are having. So whenever loader is there, the remaining text, everything is going, and whenever we are stopping the loader, the remaining text will come. Let us try to, instead of going this much dark, let us go with the lighter dark. Okay, still it is a full dark. Let us change it here itself. Okay, or let us remove the background. If you are adding the background light, very light. Okay, so let us try to go with this background. That is okay. And so whenever we are seeing this dark, okay, so whenever we are having this dark, we are showing the loader. Now the thing is, go to header.js. We want to show this loader based on the condition only. We don't want to show the always. Okay, and if you want to make this center of the screen, this loading spinner is there, right? You can write display flex and loading spinner. Go to here and go to your display flex and something like this. You can write a display colon flex and justify content center and align items center, text align something like this, height is equal 100%. So, okay, see here, now loading is coming in the center of the screen. This is what we want. But what we want to do, where by default, we don't want to come this login screen itself to occupy entire screen. Okay, so instead of this one, we can go for the first, we'll go to our normal page. By default, we will not show at all. Later, we will do based on the condition. So that is the reason I am going to add another state variable inside this header.js. I am going to add another state variable. That state variable is to show the loader. Okay, loading. So this is my variable name. And what is the set variable name? Set loading. By default, what is the value? False. Let us try to add this indication here. So now I want to show it when I want to show it only whenever it's loading. Other time you don't want to show at all. So that is the reason I will write a JSX code, and this is a loading and double and. You can use a ternary condition, or you can write a like this. So first let us go with this double and operator. Later I will do it. So I am going to save it here. Now we are going to show here. So whenever I'm clicking login, now I want to make that loading is equal to true, and that loading will set to true. After 3 seconds exactly, we will make it as a false. So that because once we get the server response, we want to make it a false. If I am not making false, always we are going to see a loading screen only. So that is not looking good. So whenever we are clicking login, let us go to this function. Now what is the variable I want to make it a true? Set loading is equal to true. Okay, now automatically spinner will start loading, but I want to stop that one after 3 seconds. If you want to do any work after particular amount of time, which one we should use it? Set timeout or set interval? Set a timeout. Okay, only one time set timeout, multiple times set interval. Let us go on with the set timeout. So we are going to use a set timeout. After 3 seconds, we are going to do set timeout is equal to false. So this meaning is first by default I am making true. After 3 seconds I am going to turn it off. So let us save it here and reload. Let's click on logout. By default nothing is there. Let's click on login. So spinner is coming, and after 3 seconds it will stop, and again it will go to. Okay, so here after like this we can show any spinner, but showing the background color like this, it is not a recommended. Usually it will be like a normal white screen, or any opacity will be very less, something like this. Let us try it again, log out. So click here, and you can try to apply some opacity here. You know opacity, right? What is the opacity? Possible values from 0 to 1, and you can try to apply. So light opacity. and even you can remove that background also. If you remove the background, here it will be there. Later we are going to add a spinner. It is going to add one icon, it will rotate there itself. Okay, that spinner we will add it later. So this is the condition here. For this purpose also, what is the code we are using here? We are using only, first we are writing one state variable, and let second what we are trying to do, we are writing one ternary condition. If this is a true, and we are loading the loader. Suppose I want to write the same code using the ternary condition. First write a question mark, but second part I don't know what I have to write it, right? That is the reason I will write a question and write a null. Whenever your first component is writing any component, in the second part you can write a null. Instead of writing empty code, you can write a null. Null means it will not display anything. So both earlier and now also it will have a same approach. Here it is showing the loading, and after 3 seconds it is going to stop it. If you think these 3 seconds are more, you can reduce it to 1 second, so that we can see in a flash. So whenever you are clicking login, it will go out in a flash, something like this. So these two things are something, it is fine. Like this you can write your code. Okay, and you don't want to write this JSX code. I want to write a normal if condition. We'll write normal if condition in our JavaScript, right? Same thing I want to write it, I want to display in that place. So I'm going to comment out for your reference. Here we are writing a return statement, right? Before going that return statement, go here and write a if condition. If it is a loading, okay, if it is a loading, so what is the component you want to return? So here you can write like a loader. So what is this meaning is, if your loading flag is true, we don't want to execute all this code. We want to return it from there itself. Okay. Hey React, please show this loading until this true is true. If this is a false, go and execute the remaining code. No problem. Something like this, we are going to write the code. So if this is a true, the program will show the loader and it will stop there itself. Our below code will not be executed. So like this, if this is a normal JavaScript code, not the JSX code. Let us save it here and reload the page. Click on logout. Still we are showing. Click on login. This time we are showing using the our if condition. Suppose you want to write a else condition. Suppose if it is not a logged in, you want to return some other component, you write it. And you want to show multiple component, you can write a else if. You can write a else if, and you can return a multiple. Same JavaScript logic you can apply it. Based on the condition, you can return a multiple components. Suppose you want to write a routing, you know that routing, right? And suppose if you are clicking a login, you want to return a login page. You want to click a employee, you want to return a employee page. Something like this. If you want to write any custom logic, you can write that code here. So this is nothing about the conditional statements. Okay, either you can write this if condition here, or you can write a JSX expression. Inside the JSX expression, first you need to think this is your true or false variable. Okay, and if this is a true, what is the data you want to show it? That is the part here. If this is a false, where what is the value you want to write it? That is the one. So like this you can define your things. This is about the conditional statements.